So
I have a minute.
we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Start off with roll call.
Nelson,
Here.
Reed,
Here.
Cochran,
Here.
Okay. Yep. So we need to have a motion to approve the minutes from February meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from the March meeting.
Second. If anyone would like a copy of what we're talking
Jan,
about.
do you need a roll
So
call?
there's all kinds of.
All in favor, say
Yeah.
All in favor, say
See what we're talking about. Pardon me, Gary.
No, you're fine. So we'll start off under old business. So we're down to the end of April. They were supposed to have the house torn down.
Did you send Greg an email on that?
I did, and I didn't get any response from Greg
All right,
or
I'm
yesterday.
calling him and seeing what's.
Yeah.
I mean, I will tell you when I call him, he's not nice to me. So I had the attorney do it. It's basically, why do you guys keep complaining about this house? Somebody has died. Give me time to do it. So that's why I had the attorney do it. He said to the attorney, the contractor came in here, asked for dirt from the slag pile. We gave him permission. It's a contractor out of Decatur that's doing it. He said to the attorney and to the contractor, Jan talked to the guy, that it would be torn down this month. I mean, I know today's Tuesday, but I will follow up again. But I'm not calling him because I see his point and I'm not doing it. So I'll have the attorney do it.
That's fine.
There you go.
All right. So we'll just start out under new business. The two quotes for well 10 and well 11 rehab were received.
This is
I
it.
think we've voted this canceled, so that's already taken care of. That issue's been handled. Next up, repair to the water plant generator was done. I think we have to do, didn't we already paid for that, did we?
Yeah.
Good. Chastain Engineering Agreement was discussed for the water plant. We sent it to the council meeting, so that was handled. The TIF seminar in April.
I did. I went to that last week for 3 days. It was very interesting. You know, the different things that you learn from different communities of what they're doing with TIF, and you know, more of just a refresher on how it worked. They hold these different seminars across the state, so this is for the central region. They have one in the fall, but I'm not going to go since it's just basically the same thing again. But it was good. It was a good thing to learn, and you know, it's some places are doing great, some places are struggling, but it's a good thing to learn.
Okay.
They're going to also do like the same thing at IML. So they have a tip section
Okay.
too. Actually, I think they're having a reception too. Is what they were wanting. Because they're wanting more. They're wanting the TIF legislation changed. Is what they're doing. So they're hoping to get more legislators involved. So they're going to have this reception.
Okay.
So if you guys all go to IML, you'll go to this reception too.
Sounds good.
So they say last week. Now that's in September, so it changed.
Right. Okay. The joint TIF Joint Review Board was held on April 18th via Zoom.
We did. We had that here on the 18th. The only taxing body that was on it was Dr. Heck from the school.
Okay.
And she came with no request. I do know we have a request from the library for next fiscal year, well, starting in May, for a request for some TIF funds. But and that was it. Moran held the meeting, hosted it, and basically it's that we're doing very good with our TIF. And that was it.
All right. So we had a special meeting on the 21st. Basically, the whole council was there. We went over the rough draft of the Illinois Housing Authority. It was interesting. It's a very rough draft. Probably half of the pages were still in the process. Now did you get a final date in June yet?
No, make sure that it's in late June for Gary. She was going to be on vacation, but no, I have not heard anything.
Okay. I didn't know she had got back to you
No.
yet. Okay.
So are you talking like anything after the 15th?
Yeah, anything after the 20th, probably.
After the 20th, then that works for me.
Okay. The electrical aggregation is up in June. Recommended the city go with Ameren again. Any change on that or any?
No, we
update?
voted on
Voted
that.
on council.
Yeah.
Budgets, you wanna do that?
We'll do that later this evening. We'll kind of do that towards the end, let the public do their thing.
Yep.
If you're okay with that.
Yeah, no, that's fine with me. That's kinda what I was gonna suggest. The committee agreed to go back to using City Hall for meetings, we're still planning to start
We
that
are
next week.
gonna hold we have the May council meeting at Bromwell because a presentation is gonna be held and it'll just be easier
Okay.
for everybody to see it. So May will probably be the last meeting we hold at Bromwell for
Okay.
unless
Unless it's a special event.
Unless it's a
yeah.
special event that we know of something that's coming up and we need it for space, that we know a lot of people's going to be there, so then we'll hold it there. That's what we've done in the past prior to
So
COVID.
so will we just pay per usage?
That's
Since we're-
how I would probably say, we'll just come up with a usage, just paying them, but
so-
essentially it'll save us, $1,200, I mean, at least 1,100 per se.
Is that fine with everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright. Treasurer Palmer has discussed online payments with the accountant. I think we pretty much got all that. Have you had any problems with the payments, the last minute ones or?
No, we haven't really had any due yet. We just got the Casey's bill in today, so
Cool.
we should be good.
Good, excellent. Alright, so, do we wanna do the
Yeah, we'll have the
library
public,
first?
you can
or-
have the library talk first if you'd like.
I think there's maybe a little shorter.
Yeah.
So Anna, if you wanna,
And if you have your budget.
Okay, I'll hear.
you may have to, we may have to move the easel or.
You can stand in front of
Yep.
You wanna give us some money for our water plant? Well, you're looking at it.
That's pretty cool.
it.
Get some farm ground in our name.
That's what we need. We just would like to, if possible, request funds to get new tile flooring in the entryway and in front of the checkout desk, and perhaps the bathrooms. We got, bids last fall just to sort of plan for our own purposes, and it was about, with labor and the flooring, it was about $5,000. Of course, that may have gone up now. So,
Probably have.
it's cracking, it's popping up, it's as old as the building, which is about 29 years, so.
It's not like old asbestos, is it?
None of the people who have come to look at it to replace it has said that.
Okay, good.
Well, and you were built in '96, weren't you? In the 90s.
93.
93, so that was prior, yeah, that's
After the
it's after all the
asbestos tile,
asbestos and everything.
85 was the
Yeah, I think that was-
asbestos code.
Well, that's good to know,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Good.
No, I mean there is in the budget for here. I did put TIF assistance at $8,000 is in the budget. Now, when I talked to Dr. Heck when we had our TIF meeting, it did not sound like as of right now that they are asking for any money right now. I mean, I know they have Mowequa. I know they got some other things possibly up in the air. So I did at least make a line item of $8,000. So I mean, I want to set some aside in case the fire department,
I totally understand that.
Schools, things like that, even ask. So, and this is another thing I need to talk with Angel on. We have a TIF surplus in our account on it because we had a lot of money appropriated for things that we did not spend on. You might get that a dollar amount if you have it. And I don't know how we could talk with the accountant on using some of that surplus money, but that'll even help with some of their other stuff possibly. So I at least put in $8,000 for TIF assistance. So
And that would be through next April?
well, it'll start May 1st and go to April 30th.
Okay, 'cause
So
I'm not quite sure when during our fiscal year, which
Yeah, no,
starts
that's
in
fine.
July that we would
Mhm.
do it.
no, I've at least budgeted. If the
That-
other
that's
6
okay.
here
Yes,
say yes, we're good. If they say no,
that's okay.
well, we'll have some dinners.
That's right.
We need to.
Yes, we do need to. Go to the Friends of the Library.
Yes, our friends of the library, right? But we do appreciate you
Yeah,
considering
no,
the request.
most definitely.
So would we do that through, would the library do the bidding and actually get it and we would just reimburse them?
They do,
or-
yeah. That's what we've
Okay.
done before.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
I
So
wasn't
and
sure.
then they they did it. They said, hey, this is the invoice. $5,000. Let's say what it'll be. We bring it up to finance. Finance approves it. We go to council with it, do the vote, and we cut them a check.
Okay.
Yes, I believe we pay whoever we
Yes.
the money to and then
Mhm.
reimburse it.
So we'll just go ahead and plan for it, set it up in the budget, that way we can vote on.
I did, yeah. You'll
Okay.
see a line here, TIF assistance of
Where is that
$8,000.
On your TIF district fund, towards the
Yeah,
back.
probably,
Towards
yeah.
the back.
Do you, Anna, do you have any idea when you may
Okay.
start
Yeah, I got
the
it.
process on that? Are you gonna wait till next fiscal year or try to do
Definitely
it this
next
year?
fiscal year,
Okay.
cause it has to be worked into our budget. Cause it'll go through our budget as well,
Okay.
so we have to put it as expense and income.
Once they find out whatever bids you're gonna go with, can somebody let us know, just in case it ends up
Absolutely,
being,
absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
I don't see it being less, but
No, I don't either.
like you said, I can see it being a lot more,
Mhm.
just so
Yes,
we
that's
have an
right.
idea ahead of time.
Yes, and yeah, we will take care of that.
Awesome.
I'm thinking more in the fall probably,
Okay.
so, at least.
Well, at least it'll be in the budget, and that way, whenever you guys are ready, then it should be fine.
So this
Okay.
TIF program budget item, that's for
That-
like,
okay,
the
that
people
is
do the
for-
facades, right?
Well, let's hold off on that. We're
Okay.
gonna talk about that later.
We'll catch all that later.
Mhm.
Okay.
But, yeah,
Any other questions?
Thank you, Anna.
No,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Anna.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate it.
awesome, thank you.
Can we go?
Absolutely.
Yes, you can go.
That's how
I really
we're
did a
starting
lot
with you,
tonight.
so.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Hey, Kim, I didn't even see you.
You want me to take Merritt? I'm walking.
You can ask him.
Oh, you wanna go with me?
You can stay here and wait
You
on
can
Mom.
stay and wait for
I want
mom.
to wait for mom.
Okay,
You're gonna learn a
see you
lot.
guys.
Thanks, Kim.
Alright, see you guys.
Thanks.
Alright, is everything else, everybody else together, or is there any other separate?
I'm here for summer rec
Okay, why don't we go
because
ahead
I knew we
Try
talked
to
about
go.
it at council, and then
There you go.
like I said at council, previous years we've ACPA has got a grant for the worker for summer rec, but the city has given us money to buy supplies, snacks if we needed. And we haven't done summer rec for a couple years because of COVID, so we're probably gonna need some new equipment, balls, things like that. And obviously they get broken, and we would like up to $500. We may not spend that, but that's previously kind of what we've been given through the mayor as like if we needed, and we just have bought things prior and then turned in receipts to Janet for reimbursement if that works. And the other thing is, and I don't know, I haven't talked to Dana but there's the building or the room in the middle of the bathrooms, and we've previously used that to store the stuff at the park. I don't know what's in there now. I haven't talked
I
to.
have not been over there since, well, really since last fall, and then it was nothing because they just opened up the bathrooms. I can check. I
But
don't
that's
think-
the
I
other
don't
thing.
think there's any-
If we could just store like that stuff in there just for the summer, and then we can take it out when we're done. So
And then I think, if I
So
remember,
do we wanna put that on the?
We can put it on the
Agenda
agenda.
for
Yeah,
a
we
vote.
sure can.
Yeah.
Because while we're talking about giving away some donations,
Alright.
the VFW auxiliary has asked for a $100 donation on that. I say that doesn't need to go to council. It's $100 if you guys are okay with it.
I'm good with
Do
that.
it. All right.
Yeah.
You okay with that, Selena? We'll do that. The next thing is,
Excuse me, did you say the VFW auxiliary?
yeah, VFW auxiliary.
Cause we can do that on our ordinance.
In our ordinance, yes,
We
but I
do
just
it
at least wanted to let you guys
yearly.
know.
Yeah, we do.
The next thing is, in the past we have given $1,000 to Assumption Fest, but it was for basically what we did for purchasing an ad in the book. Last year they gave $2,000. I'm going to say this year we do $1,000 just for the shift factory to help with the stage on that. So we'll send that to council if you guys are okay with that.
Good with that.
Alrighty.
now, if I remember correctly, doesn't the summer rec, we have to do it as reimbursement because
We
can't-
do. We just can't give out this. Yes.
I knew
that's
that
where
was
it
an
is.
issue,
Yes.
so, yeah, so there's you think 500?
yeah, I think that'll be fine.
So Abby, you guys purchase it, then we just pay you. Up
Then
to
you
the
just pay me,
$500. So if you
yes.
don't use the $500, then,
Then that, yeah, we just don't use it
okay.
because
Do we need to vote on that, or does that need to go to full council?
Let's send it to full council.
Yeah.
That's
Just
yeah,
do it.
because we don't know where the dollar amounts. So then, if anything comes up, we say, "Hey, yeah, we voted. It's in the minutes and
Yep.
all that good
So
stuff."
just put that on the agenda
I
for
can do that.
May as well.
Uh,
While we're in
I
the
guess-
full meeting, Abby had a chance to, they had their ACP meeting about the town cleanup. I know it's not really technically finance, but we will have some expenditures, so. Abby, you wanna kinda touch on what ACPA
So-
kinda decided?
ACPA has previously done an adopt a highway, and we, with Gary, we're going to encourage people to. We're going to work on the rest area into town, and then if there's enough interest, we might do an afternoon session or another session another day south of town. But also to encourage people all weekend to just clean up around them.
Yeah.
I talked to some of the churches about maybe doing something during the Sunday school hour, but none of them have Sunday school anymore.
Right.
Well, the Christian church I think does, but so I think we're just gonna do like a big campaign to clean up town, pick up trash when you see it. But our focus is gonna be coming into town and going out of town so that it looks better. So
I agree.
So I know you and I had talked about the three kind of bad areas is really from the rest of Old 51 from the turn into town, basically the grain elevator down to Old 51, and then the Casey's area out to the new
New
highway.
highway.
So those kind of three areas, and like we had talked, I think a lot of this is garbage truck overflow, because it's depending on what day of the week it is what type of garbage it is. The ditch out here from on Leafland Street from the intersection down to the grain elevator, that Saturday and Sunday was all recyclable stuff. It was all cans, bottles, cardboard, and it was 2 days after the recycling was picked up.
And I think the recycling comes in a different. I see the garbage truck, and it looks like it's in a covered bin, but I know a few times I've been home, it's like in the old-fashioned garbage truck.
And every once in a while
Recycles
they'll
will
bring
probably-
that front one, and then the front thing dumps over the top. And it can be a combination of
Yeah.
and we for 4-H we cleaned up the railroad tracks last week, and we'd also a couple weeks ago Ashlyn and I and Grady and I had done behind Casey's and like the street to the school, and it looked like a lot of that was stuff that had blown out of their dumpster, which is I mean to be expected, but so we tried to get that area kind of all ready. I did notice that when we left, like the front, like that's on 51 needed it, but I think now that mowing season, surely somebody's gonna pick that up before they mow, or crush it, or blow it. I don't know. But that behind, we kind of tried to hit the school, like the main area, the people that the most traffic was that day. So
Yeah, because one thought we'd had was maybe, depending on have like a staging area that Saturday morning, the 14th, and kind of to see how many people show
What we
up.
done was meet at the library and then
Yeah.
kind of disperse out. And I have the garbage bags and
Well,
all
that's
that
what-
stuff at my house.
that's what I said told Gary earlier. I need to contact IDOT because I think if we take it all out to the rest area, then they'll pick
Yeah,
it
they'll
up.
pick it up. Yeah, that's what
So
we've done.
that's kind of the plan, but
We can have we can have the city truck maybe go around to the different sites and take
We
it all
could,
out
or
when we're
what
done.
we've even done too. Bob Bantner volunteered his trailer, and we just took it all out to the city dumpster. I mean, that shows he did that one year.
yeah.
So
Do you
Ain't-
still have grabbers?
yeah, I got all that at home.
What about gloves?
Yes, if not, I can buy them.
Okay.
IDOT, when we call them, they'll provide us with a vest and trash bags.
Okay.
But-
I know we had talked, the only thing we would have to have one of the police officers.
Oh yeah.
If we
do.
do the new highway.
If we do the highway,
I
and
think
even if you do
I
county
mean, I
highway,
think-
it's probably good to have somebody.
Yeah, I think before, like, even when we've done just from the rest area off, we've just had somebody, like,
Yeah, just there with their lights on.
just
to let
there
them
with their
know.
lights on so
Yeah.
that they knew to, I don't know, watch what was
I know
happening.
on the main highway you have to have.
You have to. But yeah, that was an IDOT requirement for when we did it. Yeah.
And when we met last week, Kimmer, representative from Kimmer came, so we did mention it to them, and I think that they were interested in maybe bringing the kids, and maybe it wouldn't be something that they could come that Saturday, but just in the future that they're looking for ways to get involved in Assumption. So if we had an area that needed hit, like, you know, some afternoon, we can always
Reach out to
reach out to them.
Excellent. All right, we'll touch base again before the 14th.
Yeah,
We have
and I'm
more
gonna
time.
start advertising, and so.
And we'll put it
We'll put it on
the
our Facebook page and
Mhm.
city
website.
website too and stuff. We may touch on it at council next week too, just
yeah.
more
Just do it
everybody
in one of
knows.
your alderman reports. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks.
I got one more thing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's not about anything in finance. ACPA also was approached in 2016. We did mapping, which kind of spurred everything to a different level of ACPA, and so we got reached out to, and we're gonna do it again. It's gonna be 3 weeks. It's May the 16th, May the 23rd, and June the 6th. They're all Mondays. It's gonna be from 6 to 9 at Kimmer. Or that's our plan as of now. We have to go make sure that the room works for them. The meal will be provided at 5:30, and we would like to invite all of you. We will have formal invitations next week. I can bring to or I can send to council whenever that is.
And
But
Gary and Joe, that's an excellent thing. We did it back in 16. And
Is,
it was a fun thing.
I remember Giselle.
Giselle,
Is she coming?
yeah, Giselle and Linda Lee will be back.
good.
So it's a mapping thing? What is
Yeah.
So it's through rural
Development.
development.
Through
and
Western
so-
Illinois University.
Yeah, they'll come. The first week they kind of divide you into areas, and you kind of assess what you need to work on. So last time we did it, we found 6 areas that we wanted to work on through ACPA: housing, industrial, retail, events, beautification, and youth.
Yep.
So those were kind of the 6 areas. Then they break you out into groups where you find areas that you like, and you kind of brainstorm. You set goals. And then they help you to facilitate. They are really good about reaching out to us if there's grants available or ideas. There's like a Facebook group that once you go through it, then you can be a part of they share ideas from other communities. Argena did it.
They've been every, Pana did
Pana
it.
did.
Pana did it, Dietrich did it, like a lot of small communities do it, and then they tell you kind of where you stand. They compare you with other communities of your size, so you can see what's available. Like, oh, well, can we see a community like our size that has a coffee shop or things like that, and they can tell you what's out there. So
They do a lot of statistics too on your community, and
Last time when they did it, I think we had at least 6 weeks.
yeah, it was 6 weeks the last time, and this
Program.
week's 3.
And
This
it
time's
was
3.
very, very beneficial, very enlightening.
one of the best things about it, I think, is you get a bunch of people there that kind of know who each other are,
Right.
and then you
By
really
the
get to
time
know
it's done,
people.
you're all friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know people. They get you all mixed up. You're working on teams, and
Yes.
you really get to know people. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
What
the
was the date
brewery,
you're
where the
coming?
brewery
Sixth?
came out of
Yeah.
that.
The 16th, May 16th, May 23rd, and June the 6th.
And it's 6.
So is it open to certain groups, or is
Nope.
it open just
It's open to everybody. We're gonna start advertising it.
Oh,
They
okay.
just encourage us to reach. We had to come up with a list. We came up with a list of like 150 people that we wanted to personally invite, and then open it up. So we, wanted to invite council, and you can before we had to fundraise, we had to put. But they get a grant for this, so it's completely free to the community. We just have to find sponsors. We're finding sponsors for our meals, and like we provide water, soda, tea, lemonade, that kind of stuff, so that there's stuff throughout the night. And
We probably, the very first meeting, there was probably over 100 people from
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
You're right.
Really?
And in the very end,
There were
I mean,
75 people that
it
sustained
dwindled
it.
down in the
Yeah.
end
Mhm.
a little bit. But yeah, there was still 75 people.
yeah, and
It was incredible.
you're encouraged to come to all 3 meetings,
Yes.
but if you can't, like
Try to just get
1,
to
2 is fine. I mean, because ideas are great no matter how many times you can come. So
It's really good. They do a great job. They've got a real. It's a pretty structured program what they
Yeah.
put you through.
Cool.
Definitely interesting.
Thanks, Abby.
thank you.
Anything else?
No, I'm good now.
Good.
I'm done talking.
All right. So turn it
It's
over
yours and Joyce.
Well, I didn't know. Is there anything else that's kind of quick you want to go through? Because I'll have to pack up all my
I'm with
equipment when I'm finished.
Abby.
No, I'm
Oh,
Or you're,
they're all with
Well,
Joyce.
Okay.
I saw several
there's-
things
This-
on
I think
there.
this is
There are
the
some things that we could
motion
kind of go
Choice, this
through.
is city council.
Unfortunately,
This
we
is
have
city
to
council
do
in May.
Budgets.
I mean, we do have to do the
Oh.
budgets, and that is going to take a while.
Okay.
So, but there's.
That's fine. You know what? I
Okay, yeah,
thought
we can
this
do
was
that.
your agenda tonight.
Oh, no, that's just a preliminary.
Okay, I thought, geez, you guys
go
have some
ahead.
stuff to
Yeah.
go
We'll do
through.
everything else later.
Okay, well then, we
Where,
can,
where would you like the screen?
well, the screen is where, I
Okay.
think the best, and maybe you guys can, I have this set, Gary, so I was gonna sit there, but, I'm just turning this big guy on, let's make, I hope everything.
I'll trade you spots. I'll
Starts,
sit over there and you can sit here for
Okay, that'd be great.
presentation.
Abby, you're welcome to stay.
Oh, I'm gonna say so.
Okay, good
I'm just
girl.
moving
Good
so I
girl.
can see.
You want to shut the lights out?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm
once we
good.
get-
Okay.
Yeah, shut
The
this
one, the other one.
hole.
Yeah.
There we go.
Whoops.
You said, I don't need, you guys are into it, I'm just watching.
Okay,
Just to say,
and I don't have internet, so I gotta get my phone going for,
But we have internet here.
do you?
Yeah. I think it's named City.
Yeah, you've got a password on it though.
If I think cover your ears, it's like 1,
Well,
2, 3,
the
4.
camera's on.
Seriously?
I honestly don't know. My phone automatically taps to it because it's been like,
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
well, what did I tell you? We got creative.
Let me see if I,
We'll change it tomorrow. Change it.
Yes, we forgot we are still
okay,
recording.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
9-0.
9, 0. Okay, I can do that.
That was long before me. I think it was Dawn.
Okay. Looks like I'm on.
And there's switches right over there.
Can you hit that switch on the wall right behind you, if you don't mind? Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, well, what we've done, we had this group of people that are listed on there. They got started meeting, I think, February 1st. We went down to Dietrich and met with them. This all started, I think, Abby, you actually brought it to our attention that the school board last year had gone to a conference and Diedrich had made a presentation there at how they had been successful growing their community. And they've done what Abby was talking about, this mapping process. They've done it 3 times over the last 30 years. And they're, very aggressive in utilizing their TIF funds. And they're also very open and willing to help other communities utilize this. So some of the ideas of growth has been used by Teutopolis and Casey and several other communities. And they have just given us a folder full of information on this process. So without further ado, just a second here, figuring out my computer.
Try the space bar or the arrow. This arrow right here. But you have to go back to the screen. Oh, it's looks like it's
Doing something now.
thinking something.
Yeah. Okay, just a moment here. Yeah, there we go.
Now
Okay,
try using the arrows now.
okay, that's good. Now, these are some facts that came from our 2016 mapping. Some of these numbers will be updated, 'cause they'll bring new numbers, in May, but these are kind of interesting facts about our housing. That 46% of our housing was constructed before 1939, And I've got a copy of this PowerPoint that I'll hand out in the end, so,
Cool.
you'll have all these stats.
Awesome.
And then, our housing construction has really stalled since the 1990s. 23% valued at under 50,000, and then that percent is moderately priced, 50 to 150,000. The high number of old homes and low-value homes indicate assumption has a high potential for blight. Now, this came right out of mapping. This was their assessment of our community after studying that. Another fact that I got from Dr. Heck is that Central A&M enrollment has dropped 40% since the consolidation in the late 90s. Now, this is a common thing that's happening, and this was one of the things that drove Diedrich to do something about it. They have their own school system, they're not consolidated, and they wanted to keep it that way. And it's rather amazing, the trend that they have turned around, by utilizing their TIF and getting some housing available. This is graphically looking at what we just saw there, the homes built in, prior to 1940. And, if you look at the left two bars on there, the majority of the homes are 100,000 or less. So here's my take on why our housing is stagnated. In the 70s and 80s, that's when Sloan's and GSI really took off, experienced a tremendous growth. And some of us will remember, I'm sure Selena will remember, serious water issues in the late 60s and 70s. Very serious water issues. You could be all soaked up in the shower and
Run out.
And
Yeah,
just
that's-
the water, Then we got the wells over in Stonington, took care of that. But during that growth time, that was a concern, and a lot of people didn't feel comfortable investing here. Probably the big thing is we're landlocked. There's no landowners right around Assumption that was willing to sell their farmland. So Moweaqua housing really developed during that time. The west side of Moweaqua, southeast side of town, they've got a lot of newer homes because of that. A lot of management from GSI they built up in Moweaqua. So we've really remained landlocked for years. So we got a new opportunity, some land that John Wholehouse farms. He has purchased. He's farmed it for years, but he's purchased it, and that's out there on Old 51 where the track is, the middle school, and basically we're kind of looking at this general area right here. So going back to Diedrich, here's their story and how they do things. One thing they do is they really collaborate with the city and their equivalent of ACPA, the school district. They're just always working together to see how can we improve things, They have a group that meets every Wednesday for lunch. And some people can make it, some people can't, but they've got the superintendent of schools, the principal, they've got any council people who can be there, any pride people who can be there. They have lunch every Wednesday, and they just talk about stuff. People have ideas or whatever. They've had 3 different TIF districts during the last 30 years, and their population has grown. That's a little town, from 617 to 890, and they've added 147 kids to their school, so that's huge for the school district. So they've honed this over several years, and it's really worked. So here's what they do. The city manages this whole process, and what they do is they identify a piece of property, and they enter into an option to purchase the property with the landowner. So then the city buys and they control the land. The last that they bought, they paid $20,000 an acre for, and I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. They work with their local bank. Diedrich Bank has been real good, part of a lot of the people who are on the council and on this pride group. They're stockholders in the bank. I mean, they're all, it's kind of amazing how that little town works. But anyway, they obtain a loan from the bank to pay for it, and they can pay it back with TIF funds. So it's really leveraging your TIF program. What they do is they develop the land, about half-acre lots is what they do. And I encourage you to drive down to Diedrich and drive through this little area. They sell the lots for about $5,000 each, and at $3,500 if there's a housing developer that'll just build like a spec house. And that's the big incentive for people to buy a lot, is it's all ready to go. They've got all their utilities to it, $5,000. Then the buyers sign a covenant agreement, and some of the things that they have in their covenant agreement, not that we would have to have, but this is what they've got. The home has to be completed in a year. Now, if somebody's gonna think about this, they're gonna have their plans, they're gonna be working out all that. Once they buy it though, they have a year to build the house, and the reason they do that is that way the TIF kicks in within a year. They're getting money from that improvement on that land, and it's coming back into the TIF district, and you're maximizing the number of years that you're getting that TIF money back. So that's how this works. They set a minimum size for the house. They've learned over the years a lot of things. She said, they don't allow any wooden fences. They limit the number of pets in each home, things like that, so that this becomes a development that's nice for everybody to live in. They kind of got some agreements on how things will work. And then the sidewalks are built, they have to be built to spec so that everybody's sidewalk, is connected and looks good. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff there, but that's the kind of thing that they lay out. If you're gonna buy a piece of property, a lot, you have to sign on to the covenant agreements. The average selling price of the homes that they're selling is $230,000. These are just facts from Diedrich, what they're doing. Their goal is to break even on this. They don't look to make money on it. They look for the auxiliary advantages that you get from this. People buying gas in your community, buying stuff at Dollar General, going to the brewery, eating meals and all that, and having more people in the school district. So she emphasized that over and over. About 75% of their mortgages go through the local bank. So that's just so this is a point, they've got a really nice PowerPoint themselves that they go through with all this, and this is a slide from their PowerPoint. It says growth can seem slow, but once the momentum catches, the speed is incredible. So you can see on the left, this is one of their properties that they've developed, and how many new houses they've got in just less than 2 years. They're gone up there.
Is this for the water? Is that the blue area?
I'm not sure
Retention
if
pond.
it might be a retention pond for the drainage for that.
That's what I'm wondering,
Yeah.
since it's so close.
Yeah.
They may have also dug some of that out to level the ground too, kind of like the pits along the highway out here when they go.
Yeah.
Probably both.
And I'll tell you what, we went February 1st, there were 4 of us that went down there, and they'll sit down with you, they'll give you a tour of the place, they'll tell you, they'll share, their attorney would talk to your attorney. I mean, it's just, they're very open, they're very proud of what they've developed here and how it's working, and they're
They want to share their accomplishments.
yeah,
And that-
it's really it's kind of a,
And that's just one subdivision. I
Yeah.
think they've added 3 or 4 of these subdivisions
Yeah.
just by doing this process.
yeah, it's all making TIF work for you.
Is this Effingham? Are they Effingham County as well?
They're
Yeah.
close to Effingham.
So what county are they
They're
in?
in Effingham.
Yeah.
They are in Effingham County. Okay.
So, like I say, TIF's the key here, and I'm just gonna give a refresher, because I don't know how comfortable everybody is with how TIF works, but I'll do this kind of quickly, because some of you, I think you are pretty much. They, when you set up a TIF district, it lasts for 23 years. The real estate tax distribution within the TIF perimeter, you know, not every, the whole town's not in the TIF district, just, you know, a certain perimeter. The distribution is frozen at the time the TIF goes into effect. So the school, library, fire, all that, they're locked in at the dollar figure that they were getting when TIF went into effect. So, the real estate tax landowner in the TIF district is not impacted by this at all. I mean, taxes are gonna go up and fluctuate just like our taxes go up. You know, with reassessment, if you build something nice on your property, it's gonna go up. Anything like that, the taxpayer is gonna, you know, his taxes is gonna go up as well. But that increase in taxes, instead of being distributed to everybody the way it normally would, it just all goes in to the TIF fund, coming back to help with other projects. So here's an example. If you take 12 acres of farmland, there's no buildings on it, it'd be like $5,040 taxable. Then this is, you know, the landowner for that 12 acres would be paying $413 in taxes. And these are just numbers that, I took it off my tax bill, it's not exactly. So then, the same 12 acres with 16 homes on it that average, let's say 200,000 each. You see the, you know, everything's frozen for, the different taxing entities there, but then the TIF fund has $87,000 coming annually. So, nobody's tax bill is gonna look like this. This is aggregate for the 12 acres, you know, they'd be 16 different tax bills, but the end result would be this. So, Assumptions TIF was passed in December of 2017, I think that's
Yes.
right. Has a 23-year life, so it's still in effect till 2040. So we've got 17 years left to make something happen with that. In 2021, it brought in 76,000 just in that year, and at the end of 2021, it was
Okay, so you
just
had that.
under 165,000.
That goes into, Angel had drawn this report, and that goes into the surplus funds that we have, and that is something we're gonna have to, talk to the
Lorraine.
accountant. No, talk to our accountant Adam to see how we report some of that, because like I said, you know, we get in 76,000, but last year we didn't hardly spend anything in TIF. We got a lot of the money in, so that is on reporting some of that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we only get 76,000, you know, a year right now in it, so it does kind of narrow some things down for us. But like I said, we have that surplus fund, so that's where I'm kind of not familiar with.
I know that
On that.
TIF funds can only be spent
Yeah.
in the TIF.
In the TIF, you know, you're absolutely right. And I mean, I guess before we go any farther, I mean, we are going to have to do something with Salone's, because Salone's has some drainage issues, and I've talked with Jeff Salone. I told him that there's some TIF money for him, but I never gave him an amount. But there is something that we can work out and probably give them out maybe over 10 years. So that's kind of my
That's
line
the
of
kind
thought.
of thing that you can do with
We
TIF.
can do with it,
and-
exactly, because, and I'm doing it to show it's a good gesture for them
Yeah.
on it, but we're still kind of in the process of working that out. But I at least wanted to go to them and say, hey, I know we're making you kind of fix your drainage issues, so I think it was a good effort.
Mhm.
Talk, you know, but like I said, no money was even brought up. We're still working in the plans. We'll bring it to council and kind of go from there.
Okay.
When you say the TIF districts were frozen upon creation, would that farmland have been included in that TIF district at
No,
that time?
it's not.
It's not.
It's not, but it's just to give an example of how.
So would
how-
would we have to create a new TIF?
We would.
district to
We would
cover
have
That's,
that?
and I'm gonna
yeah.
cover
I'm
that in
thinking,
a second.
okay.
You're,
That's why
you're
I'm
doing,
like,
you're
Yeah.
going right.
Good.
You're going right. Is he a
Yeah.
plant? Is he a plant?
He's a mole.
Okay, so here's our new opportunity. We're thinking, this land is not in the city or in the TIF. So it would have to be annexed, and it would have to be amended, the TIF district would have to be amended to include it. And so I've got some figures on that here. Basically, what we're thinking is, if we think about maybe getting an option to purchase about 30 acres, and and we wouldn't have to be this big, it could just be twice as big as the little initial layout we have here. But those are 16 lots, about a half acre each. There's enough space there, and I haven't drawn it the way John had got it all drawn up with the road and the drainage and everything. But it approximately would look like this. We did meet with, the city engineer came and met with us. Like I say, we've been meeting every Monday at 4 o'clock for a couple months now. So the city engineer came, Mark came and met with us 1 week, and at no charge. He just spent time with us knowing where the sewers were, and there's some, all the details of that have not been worked out, but there is, sewer on the east side access, there's sewer over by that track access, and there's some issues if we use the one. I mean, I don't want to get into so many details right now, but there's details to work out. But with the drainage, there'd be a detention pond or at least a detention structure of some kind. At some point, there could maybe be a pond on the west side of this whole thing, and build homes around it. So it could really develop, I think, into a nice area, and it's kind of a cool proposition, I think.
Can you go back to that for a minute?
Sure.
Where on the map is the new water treatment plant? Is
Right
that-
across the road.
Oh, it's on the other side?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was on the opposite side from Dollar General. It's on the same side as
Yeah,
Dollar General?
just
right.
south
Oh,
of
okay.
Dollar
Just
General.
south of Dollar General.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Thank you.
so these homes would have a nice view of the water plant. So here's kind of what we're thinking, and we've got a detailed. Did I bring?
I gave it to you.
You did give it to me. Do I have it? I think I've got that in my briefcase here. So anyway, here's kind of what we're thinking would be